Welcome in, folks. Tonight with the SCSRA Dev Sporting Cards Cup Series, we are at Indianapolis for race number 5 on the season. It's Jacob here tonight on the call with Intensity Broadcasting as we roll in to the Indianapolis 100 here tonight. 100 laps, which in grand total 250 miles here tonight. Should be a good one. Here at Indy, it is a one of the crown jewel events of the season. Stage break will be at lap 30 here tonight. And so second of the 3 crown jewels. Obviously the season opener at Daytona was crown jewel number 1. Here today at Indy, it is crown jewel number 2. And then at the end of the season, or closer towards a few more races, we will have the 3rd crown jewel, the Coke 600. Well, the equivalent of the Coke 600 here in the SCSRA, where they will be running 200 laps, which would be the equivalent of 300 miles for the Coca-Cola 300 at Charlotte. That'll be December 3rd, so it'll be coming here pretty quickly. Trying to get the mic situation figured out here as we're in practice right now. Still 7 minutes left in practice. Sharn Hill fastest so far. We are coming at you after the last race of the season we went was at Richmond. And a very emotional race week last week for Sharn Hill, unfortunately with his mother. Unfortunate circumstances, you know. It would seem fitting that the racing, he continues onward, kind of paying tribute to his mom for the rest of the season here and every other season to follow, I'm sure. Fastest in practice so far. He had a good run at Richmond last race. Finished top 5. Might have been top 10. I think 7th was where he finished. Let me go ahead and pull up the standings for SCSRA. So I got all the relevant knowledge in front of me. Yeah, so Richmond Sharn Hill came home 7th, so that's what I tried to remember on. Still a great run, top 10 for him at Richmond. Jesse Whittington came up short, dominated at Richmond, and fell back to 3rd. Joseph Irwin was the race winner last week. And so as we have just under 5 minutes left in practice here, I'm going to take this opportunity to do our sponsor spot here before the racing and qualifying begins here this evening. So tonight's broadcast is presented by Dev Sports Cards, the primary partner of the SCSRA and a consistent supporter of this league. Their eBay store has a fresh batch of auctions closing soon, from star rookies to vintage chase cards, plus 25-cent combined shipping on qualifying orders. If you want to support the people who support sim racing, check out Dev's Sports Cards on eBay before those listings expire. Top racers presenting the Dev Sporting Cards brand here. You got the, well, usually we've got a couple drivers. Looks like we've got the 81 of Josh Hall, the 55 of Ryan Gomes, part of their team, so keep an eye out on them here tonight. So far, Ryan Gomes 14th fastest in practice, and Josh Hall doesn't look like he's set a time yet here in practice. Still maybe getting the rust knocked off, trying to get a feel for the car here. Also, bringing a whole new dimension to immersive entertainment, Butt Kicker has pioneered tactile feedback technology that lets you feel the action. Whether you're behind the wheel in a sim rig, watching a blockbuster in your home theater, or in the studio dialing in the low end. With 2 decades of industry leadership, their haptic transducers convert audio signals into physical vibration, turning sounds into sensations. If you've ever wished you could feel that racing shift, explosion, or bass drop, Butt Kicker makes it real. Butt Kicker is the primary sponsor that I have for hosting the replays here week in and week out. So once we pull up the Butt Kicker replay, we'll see what brings out those cautions here this evening. And lastly, in racing, everyone prepares for the competitors they can see, but one of the toughest opponents a driver can face never shows up on the timing screen. The hidden opponent is tackling the mental health battle inside the helmet, educating athletes, supporting teams, and giving the racing community language, tools, and leadership to talk about what usually stays silent. Because when drivers confront the hidden opponent, it doesn't just make them faster, it makes the whole garage stronger. And the hidden opponent is a nonprofit organization that helps provide those coaches and materials to help better strengthen mental health amongst the athletes. Great supportive group of sponsors that we have here, and obviously I pay great thanks to everyone racing on track here tonight, the series for putting on shows left and right. Looks like we're going to have about an 18-car field here at Indianapolis, one of my favorite tracks. Always love seeing racing action here, whether it's an Indy car or a NASCAR stock car. Still, the biggest spectacle in motorsports is got to be the Indianapolis 500. And, well, we'll get our own little slice with the Indianapolis 250 here tonight. 30 seconds left in practice, and we'll do the hot potato through qualifying here tonight to see who sets it on the pole. We do have a couple folks with the side-by-side views here tonight. Of course, we've got Jesse Whittington in the 94 car giving us his in-car cam. And new this week, starting this week, you got Lauren Vincent with his in-car cam featured here. So Practice is in the books. We'll get rolling into qualifying here. Coming off, joining the racing surface, it is Trey Spears, the number 12. Definitely a longer warm-up lap here at the 2.5 mile oval that is Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Josh Hall also hopping out on track here. Jay Stinson is on track trying to go for his hot lap. Here we have Lauren Vincent, as I mentioned earlier, with the side-by-side cam here this evening. He's getting out there to make his qualifying attempt. From Salina, Kansas. It's only his second season with the SCSRA. Part of Royalty Motorsports. Here he is getting ready for his first timed lap. Top of the leaderboard, we still haven't seen a lap completed yet, but their purple tracker on my screen here shows that they just started their timed lap. Top of the board, we've got Justin Parham with a 52.47. Joshua King is running his second lap. He's about a half second off pole pace at the moment, a 52.98. And we just had Kenneth Redinger jump to the top with a 52.28 in the Zaxby number 99. In the number 19 Sour Patch entry here, Justin Parham, he's going to come across the line to complete his second timed lap here. His first was a 52.4. His second lap, a little bit slower at a 52.65. Just like that, Sharn Hill jumps up to second quickest. It looks like on his first lap here, 52.44. Kenneth Redinger still with the fastest lap, his second lap faster at a 52.28. Warren Kyle Keith also jumps up there, joins second fastest at a 52.29, but that was only his first lap. So here, running his second lap, we'll keep our eyes on him, see if he can bump Kenneth Redinger from the top position. Still quite a couple heavy hitters at the bottom that haven't turned a lap yet. Your defending race winner from last week, Joe Irwin, has not came out yet. Jesse Whittington's on the track, getting ready to make his qualifying lap. And just like that, Jesse Whittington to the top of the board with a 52.15. Warren Kyle Keith, his second lap was slower. So here we have our other in-car driver, the 94 of Jesse Whittington. And he's running his second lap here. We'll see if he's even quicker. His first lap was screaming out there at a 52.15, so getting into some rare air if his second lap's even quicker. Still waiting on Joe Irwin. Matthew Fritz is on track right now. Jesse Whittington, his second lap is going to be a 52.42. And so Fritz, we just saw him make his first lap, bump up to 6th. We'll keep our eyes on him here for his second lap to see how he does. Whoop. Did we run out of time here in qualifying, I wonder? Looks like we ran out of time. He didn't get his second lap in. That happens sometimes. Unfortunately, even Joe Irwin did not turn a time here tonight. So Irwin will be starting 18th. Billy Titoff, 19th. So we'll go ahead and pull open the starting lineup here. Starting at the very back, you've got Billy Titoff and Joe Irwin. Jorge Ledesma Jr. starts 17th. Lauren Vincent starts 16th. Joshua King 15th. Vince Brent starts 14th for Cypress Academy. And then you've got the 13th position driver, that's Jay Stinson in the 31 for Venom Racing. Charles Stevens Jr. 12th. Josh Hall 11th. And now our top 10 is as follows. Trey Spears starts 10th in the number 12. Matt Bands starting 9th in the number 72. And above that, you've got Ryan Gomes starting in 8th. Justin Parham starting in 7th. Matthew Fritz starting 6th. And then your top 5, you've got Garrett Walden 5th. Sharn Hill 4th. Warren Keith 3rd. And your front row here today at Indianapolis, it's going to be Kenneth Redinger 2nd. And pole position, the defending champion, Jesse Whittington, and your current points leader here this season. $19 cars on track. Your last week's winner starting 18th here. He's going to have the whole field to flex with to try and get back up to the front. Kind of neat. Sharn Hill with a new paint scheme this week. The number 5 went from black and gold to blue and silver. Definitely digging the Adidas styling on that number 5 car for this week. So 100 laps will be the distance here, 250 miles at Indianapolis. That stage break comes at lap 30. We'll see who gets the stage win here this evening. Indianapolis is a tough track. No matter what vehicle you run around here, it's always very touchy, very fast, and usually on the edge of out of control. Stock cars have at least a bit of advantage because they're not having to go nearly 260 miles an hour. Actually, 240 miles an hour is kind of what an Indy car does around here. That's like right in qualifying day trim. 236, that's yeah, screaming around this track. But these stock cars are way too heavy, and you might be lucky to get up to about 190 miles an hour going into the turns. Still, as daunting as this track is, one wrong move and you're in the wall at 190 miles an hour. So it's definitely a very, very unique setup. A very fun track for spectators, but sometimes not as fun of a track for the drivers themselves. So who is going to come out on top, and who has it to conquer Indianapolis here? The Brickyard. To the restart zone, marked by the orange cones there.
Green flag.
We're off and rolling for 250 miles here tonight. As they go roaring into turn 1 here, it's going to be the 94 of Jesse Whittington with the advantage over Kenneth Redinger and speedway transition here after we've had kind of, obviously we had Daytona super speedway track, and then had the 1.5-mile tracks of Vegas and Texas, and then the short track of Richmond. So we've really kind of stretched through all the different styles of racetracks within the first 5 weeks of the season. And we're testing, the only thing not yet in the books is a road course, obviously, and you'll see different skill sets develop when we hit the road course later this season as well. Looks like Billy Tidoff had to start the race on pit road. I don't know if there was a penalty handed out. I can only assume there must have been a penalty from the previous race where he had to start the race on pit road and serve a penalty that way. The one I'm going to have my eye on here tonight, though, is going to be Joe Irwin. Starting from 18th here tonight, we already know that he's got the pace, he's got the speed. Is he going to be able to come all the way through the field and fight for a win again, 1 week removed from his last victory? He's already gained 4 spots so far, getting around the likes of Joshua King, Jorge Ledesma Jr., Josh Hall, and Warren Benson. The front of the field, it's a 2-car breakaway as Warren Keith and Jesse Whittington start to stretch it out a little bit here. Battle's starting to develop for 3rd place there as 43 of Garrett Walton takes over the 3rd position. Side by side, they continue to stay with the others behind him there. Justin Parham and Kenneth Redinger. Top 2 are the only drivers in the 52.8, 52.9 second. Everyone else is in the 53.5s and even 54-second laps. You know, honestly, almost have to approach Indianapolis kind of like a road course. Obviously, there's no right-hand turns, but the ability to save your stuff on a road course can definitely help you save your stuff at Indianapolis. High speeds and the very unique corners. The straightaways in the middle of the turns. I mean, it's a whole different approach to oval racing when you come to Indianapolis. So we're under caution for the first time here tonight. And here we are with the butt kicker replay to see what brought out the first caution here. So pictured here, you got the 84. That is Charles Stevens Jr. Oh, and Trey Spears just gets clipped there by the 84 of Charles Stevens. He goes sliding down and finds the opening in the inside barrier there. Hard hit. That's usually the worst place you could hit at any track when you've got an opening like that for safety vehicles and your car finds the opening in the gap. 12 comes and lays to rest up on the top of the racing line there, but brings out the caution. No one else really involved in it. 84 got a little bit out of control there. After clipping the 12, he comes up the track and into, I want to say that's Brent there in the 92. Yeah, Vince Brent in the 92. Yeah, the 03 kind of makes his way through it without too much drama, but definitely in the scope of the wreck there. Hard hit for the 84 at the end of that one. And so it begins. Pit stop strategy. This is kind of where I was talking about approaching Indianapolis like a road course. You get these altering strategies that you don't often see at oval tracks come into play at Indianapolis because it's such a long distance track. When the stock cars here, they're turning a near 1 minute lap. I mean, 53 seconds, just rounded up to a minute. And a typical road course is on the south side of a minute, sometimes even a couple minutes, depending on. So yeah, your fuel mileage is very crucial here at Indianapolis. And the drivers getting off strategy here could really benefit come the stage break, mixing it up with the overall strategy call here this evening. Well, it looks like we had 5 cars stay out. Warren Keith, one of the first to come out after making his pit stop here. 5th, it is Joshua King, who stayed out. Joe Irwin, who stayed out. Justin Parham, Kenneth Redinger, and Jesse Whittington. Well, on the restart here, we're going to go ahead and ride along with Jesse Whittington. We've also got Charles Stevens in car cam up and running now. So let me set some more stuff up here so we can get that all squared away. Alrighty, getting set for the restart here. Coming up on lap 8. Jesse Whittington on the front alongside Kenneth Redinger. Your top 2 from the start of the race continue to hold the top 2 spots. We did, however, see Kenneth Redinger drop a little bit on the initial start, so he gets moved back up to second here and try it again. One of the longer tracks where you have to go out there without a pace car to set the restart. But Jesse Whittington does it masterfully. Rolling into turn 1. With clear track ahead, clear track alongside of him. You don't really see anything in the peripheral. He's got a good advantage over now Justin Parham, who made it up to second there. Move being made for third as Warren Kyle keeps on. Fresh set, we'll take the gas, he's to the floor. Go ahead and check in on Charles Stevens and his in-car cam after getting involved in that first caution here. He's back in 13th at the moment, fighting for 12th on Ryan Gomes. Seems like the car was able to get fixed relatively well. Doesn't look too beat up after getting involved in that first caution. Seems to be running decently as well as he's catching up to the 55. I don't know if we'll see it here, but I know for a fact this is one of the tracks where you'll see the snake effect. And that'll be when the drivers are trying to walk away with it. They want to break the draft to the driver behind them. Right now, you won't really see that factor in because they're just trying to make it to the end of the stage. And it's not really like they're racing for the win on lap 11 of 100. But there's a good chance the later it gets into this race, the closer it is to the finish, that snake effect might start kicking in. Drivers trying to cut the draft to the driver behind them. As we're watching the 84 here, he's trying to keep the draft on the back bumper of the 55 so that he can potentially fight for that position. But at the same time, the 55 also utilizing the draft in front of him to keep the car away from the 84. Bounce back up to the front of the field here where it is Jesse Whittington driving away with it at the moment. Justin Parham in second. He's under attack here. Warren Kyle Keith, who just pitted on lap 6, trying to use the advantage he got on the rest of the field here by pitting early. Showing the speed. Is he going to be able to get around the Sour Patch Kids, number 19 there of Justin Parham. Joe Irwin still holding on to 5th there, even with jumping off strategy from your leader. And due in part to him staying out, not pitting, he is the biggest gainer here at plus 13. 19's doing a pretty good job here holding off Warren Keith from taking over the second position. Kenneth Redinger in the background still running in 4th and Joe Irwin 5th. Sharon Hill running a solid 6th, Garrett Walden 7th, Jay Stinson 8th, Joshua King 9th, and Matt Baines 10th. Jesse Whittington is proving that he's got the pace here tonight. He's going to be a tough one to beat. We've seen him show up and show down like this before. So far, only one caution in the race for incident. Since the restart, we've managed to put up more green flag laps on the second run. Here we go, Warren Keith looking on the inside, Joe Irwin looking on the inside. Couple battles starting to brew here. Nine's got the advantage. The 03 makes the pass. Joe Irwin up to fourth. Warren Keith has to fall back into third, fall in line. Oh, but he's got to run here. Look at the momentum. He's closed up on the back bumper of the 19. He's going to drag race down the backstretch. The 9 has the advantage on the inside here, but will the 19 make it hard? He doesn't really put up too much of a fight there, knowing that the 9 car is a little bit faster at the moment. So Parham back to third. Warren Keith back to second. Based on what we've seen already in this small 15-lap sampling size of the race here tonight, I think one of our top contenders on speed alone is going to be Warren Keith to Jesse Whittington. Those two have been able to put down some very quick laps here already. Justin Parham did pretty good too, turning a 52.5. Warren Keith has a 52.58 as his best time, and Jesse Whittington with his best lap of a 52.37. So your top 3 are truly the top 3 fastest as they run right now. Garrett Walden showed some pace, but quickest lap is no indicator of consistent lap speeds. We don't really have the telemetry to show us 5 laps pace, 10 laps pace, so on. So we kind of have to analyze by watching the race here to figure out who's got the momentum. And one of those guys definitely with the momentum right here. You see that 03 of Joe Irwin closing it up on the top 3 here. He's putting the fight to Justin Parham. All the meanwhile, Jesse Whittington driving far away from these 3 drivers who are battling for second. He has extended his gap to a 1.3 second advantage. The group we're following here, their lap times have dropped to a 53.4, whereas Jesse Whittington is still turning 52.9s. There we go, Joe Irwin closes the door on Justin Parham. He had to kind of sneak in front of the 19 there, but made it work. Now also making a move, you got Kenneth Redinger on the attack here. And Joe Irwin's proven that doesn't really make a difference on that first pit stop for tires. He was able to stay out here, and he's running down the 9 who had pitted, and Whittington also proving that the tires don't mean a whole lot after 6 laps. The advantage is not quite there for Warren Keith to catch him. So top 2 in points, obviously Jesse Whittington leads the points, but Joe Irwin is second in the points and only trailing by 12 total. Top 3 amongst the point standings are all race winners this season. Jesse Whittington, Joe Irwin, and Charles Stevens. The other driver that had a win on the season, Zach Stevens, is all the way back to 22nd in the points. So he's had a rough spell here since winning his race earlier in the season. We are down to 6 laps until the stage break here. Jesse Whittington, Warren Keith, and Joe. Whoa, Warren Keith got a little bit loose there. Comes back up the racing surface and right behind the 03 of Joe Irwin. That was a little bit unsettling. Number 9 saves it and continues on. The 03 gains another spot, up to 2nd here. And so, yeah, this, early championship battle definitely comes down to, Jesse Whittington and Joe Irwin already putting on a clinic this season so far. They've shown speed. They've shown the ability to win. And now if it's going to continue to trend in this direction, we might see these two, deliver blows back and forth. Win a race here, win a race there. The other guy does the same. could be like a good old-fashioned boxing match with two heavyweight contenders. And it's going to be fun to watch all the way down to the championship finale. Joe Irwin is going to be able to get the advantage here of having stayed out. And when the stage break does come, that caution falls. We'll see if the drivers that pitted on lap 6 do anything contrary. I imagine everyone's probably going to pit. And we'll see that the 03 of Joe Irwin is going to settle in line right about where he's running right now in the top 5. Big gain for him. Going off strategy or kind of staying on his own strategy, contrary to what the other people did. He's closing up on Jesse Whittington. The lead is shrunk to nearly a half second. Joe Irwin closing that door pretty quickly. And you gotta imagine the points battle between these two are going to be very pivotal all throughout this regular season. What does the stage win here tonight mean in the points conversation? Obviously, Joe Irwin is going to want this stage win so that he can try to separate the deficit between him and Jesse Whittington. As we're down to about 3 laps left before the stage end here. Deficit keeps shrinking down to 0.4 seconds. Warren Kyle Keith pitting here on lap 28. In regular NASCAR rules, that is completely legal as the pit roads close with 1 lap to go on a stage break. So that's still with 2 laps to go. He's all clear to make a pit stop here and get off strategy. What it would actually do for him is when all these drivers do decide to pit at the stage break, he can stay out. And maybe during this, this time window right here, come back out on track, save as much fuel as he can so that he'll approach the second half after the stage without any worry. But he's still on pit road. He's about to go a lap down. That could put a kibosh on everything I was saying there. So he's going to have to get the wave around. Maybe something a little bit more critical on the number 9, having to pit at 2 laps the end of the stage. Joe Irwin still not able to catch Whittington here. The gap has shrunk to 0.2 seconds now. He might have an opportunity. Joe Irwin still trying to close that gap here. They'll see that green-white checkered this time when they come across the line. Jesse Whittington looks like he's going to hold on here to get the stage win. Oh, he's a little bit loose there in front of Joe Irwin. Irwin might have an opportunity here if he can lean into it. But to no avail. It is the 94. Jesse Whittington's going to come across the bricks here to take the stage win. Joe Irwin, a solid job trying to hunt him down here, but he's going to settle for second in stage points.
Yellow flag.
We'll follow along under the stage brake here with our side-by-side in-car cam here for Jesse Whittington. We'll have to see if he's able to maintain the lead after pit stops, or we'll see if some folks decide to stay out under the stage brake here. You can hear he's already trying to conserve fuel here. Laid into it, then out of the gears altogether, saving the fuel under caution here. So yeah, Warren Keith actually fell a lap down during that pit stop. And unless they do wave rounds here, he is not going to get back on the lead lap, since he is the third car in line, one lap down behind Trey Spears and Jorge Ledesma Jr. Your stage winner here, of course, the 94 of Jesse Whittington, as we roll around under caution here. And now is the opportunity for them to pit from the lead here. Looks like just about everyone's deciding to pit, as they probably should. Looks like Trey Spears gets the lucky dog. He's waved around the pace car. Okay, they do the wave around, not just the lucky dog, because it looks like Warren Kyle Keith is going to get put back on the lead lap as well. Jesse Whittington, with the advantage of the #1 pit stall, comes on to pit road to get his services done. 4 tires for the 94. We'll see if that diminishes his pit stop. Oh, just barely gets beat there by the 19 of Justin Parham. And staying out, it looks like we have the 99 of Kenneth Redinger, who decided to stay out under the stage brake caution here. So that shakes things up a little bit. So this is our second caution. We had 1 caution for incident here today, and the second caution was for the stage brake. Well, that's interesting. Kenneth Redinger must be a penalty for the 99 of Redinger. I have no clue. As he's dropping back, that gives the 19 of Justin Parham the lead here. Warren Keith is right on the front end of the lead lap here. We'll see if they give him the wave round or if he's going to have to start amongst the leaders. Now let's try something a little bit different. We're going to start deeper in the field and do the side-by-side with Charles Stevens Jr. He's going to start right alongside the 03 there of Joe Irwin. 6th and 7th. Well, actually, he's going to start alongside Ryan Gomes as Joe Irwin will be a row ahead of him there. Definitely one of the longer laps under caution. Indianapolis, it's about a 2-minute trek around this track under caution for these big, heavy stock cars. As we're going to get back and rolling here on lap 35, it'll be Justin Parham, Jesse Whittington, Garrett Walden, Sharn Hill, Matt Baines, Joe Irwin, Charles Stevens Jr., Ryan Gomes, Vince Brent, and Matthew Fritz, your top 10. Just on the outside looking in, you've got Josh Hall in 11th, Joshua King in 12th. Kenneth Redinger, unfortunately, all the way back to 13th, minus 11 spots from his start. Here we are getting ready for the restart. Go ahead and watch the in-car cam and see how intense this restart can be. Still getting up to speed here, the 55 around the outside. Go, good run on the inside. It might be a run for the position here for Charles Stevens Jr. Rolling through the turn. Whoa, contact. Just might have been a slight kiss there of contact. Now he's up to 7th. Bounce back to the lead. Jesse Whittington lost the lead under pit stops there. Justin Parham to the top spot. And what the lap times are telling me here, they're down to a 54-second lap. Even if it looked like they got tires, it's making me wonder if tires are even an option here, or if they were saving their stuff. No, yeah, now they're down to a 52.80. A slow lap. So they had to have taken 4 tires. There's no way they wouldn't go through this race without at least a couple sets of tires here tonight. And even if they were limited, I don't think they would have saved a pair on that first stop after 35 laps. Whittington trying to put his car on the inside here, side by side in the middle. Straightaway between 3 and 4. He's going to roll out of 4 with an advantage on the number 19, and they're wrecking behind him. 43 car's a little bit rough for wear.
The yellow flag is out.
That's a double-sided wreck there, a couple involved. Bringing out the 3rd caution here in Indianapolis. Well, it looks like we're going to have to dive into a couple wrecks there. So, the initial wreck involves the 43 here. Gets a little bit of a bump there, gets a little bit out of control in front of the 03 of Joe Irwin. And I think that initial hit might have broke the upper A-arm. 72 tried to avoid the 43 and overcorrected it. Lost it coming back into the racing line. 43 is able to make it down pit road. That would not have brought out a caution there. But the fact of the matter, the caution was mostly finalized after the 72 of Matt Baines trying to avoid the spinning 43 here. Sharn Hill made a stellar move there, getting on the low side of the 43. 72 clears, but these next-gen cars do not like when you drive too sporadically on the steering output. And it slides him back up into Stevens. Oh! Stevens gets into the wall there. 72 blocking the racing line. The 99 of Redinger with nowhere to go. He's going to try to go up high to clear the 72. He does, but still managed to hit the wall there. And that is how the third caution comes to be here this evening. Indianapolis, definitely one of those tracks where it's about a 25 lap run on mileage, 25 to 35 laps. So still with 60 laps to go, there's going to be a couple necessary pit stops here before the end of it. And it looks like Justin Parham, Jesse Whittington, they're not going to pull the trigger on pitting until they really must. That window kind of starts to seal up at about lap 65, I'd say. When you get to 65 to 70, that's when you want to make potentially the one last stop of the race here. This caution helps so that they can kind of conserve their fuel, save their stuff. And maybe even stretch it to about lap 70 at that point. Well, let's try this again a little bit further back. We'll go ahead and hop on the in-car cam of Lauren Vincent. It's definitely very appealing for me to be, in the in-car cams like this and listen to the drivers at work. He's in the gas right now, but when he gets to the end of the straightaway, he just lets completely out of the gas. Maybe even turns the fuel system off to save that fuel. Just coasting. Letting the momentum of the car carry itself. That's how you win races. You save that fuel and make the most of it when you need it the most. With 60 laps still to go, definitely it's going to be hard to tell where the fuel mileage windows start to close up here. Looks like we're doubled up, so this should be for the restart here. We'll stay alongside Lauren Vincent for the restart. It's going to be on the inside line here. Running in 12th. Pace car is off. We'll get rolling here. Some unique, very unique angles of the race here tonight. Getting to see different side of things. At the moment, it's Justin Parham maintaining the lead over Jesse Whittington. I'll keep an eye on the timer, the timing pylon, to get the best updates as possible as we keep an eye on different angles here. Lauren Vincent gets up one spot into 11th. He's still behind the 17 of Joshua King. Joshua King for Royalty Motorsports, or rather Royalty Racing, my bad. Lauren Vincent having a clean start here, trying to close the gap up on Joshua King. I see up ahead Matthew Fritz makes a dive down low. Justin Parham still your leader, and things are getting a little bit chaotic ahead of the 11, the 07, I mean, in 11th place. 3 wide ahead of him. 43 takes the spot, bumps Vincent back to 12. No. Wow, he's in fuel save mode even under competitive laps here. So kind of changed up his game plan a little bit once he got past. Fuel mileage, that's the road course strategies being played out here tonight. Jesse Whittington back to lead, taking the position away from Justin Parham. Sharn Hill running solidly up in 3rd. The chaos is kind of in the background here, though, from 8th on back, as Fritz settles into 7th there. Redinger, King, Walton, Hall. Josh Hall's fallen from up to the top 5 all the way back to 11th here. All the craziness in the backfield, though, we got to try to keep up with the battles for the lead here tonight. 44 laps in so far, and that means 56 laps left to go. Sharn Hill having a stellar run here tonight, showing some muscle in the top 3. He's trying to catch up to the 19, making up some moves to get closer to the back bumper of Parham here. Vince Brent also up into the top 5 here, running in 4th. Oh, and we got a spinner in the background. The race staying green, Don't know how, but it's managed to stay green this whole time. We'll go ahead and get dialed into a butt kicker replay here and see what happened. So that's the 84 of Charles Stevens Jr. These two are in the back end of the field anyways. Unfortunately, Baynes gets turned, and that puts Baynes back to 19th. Charles Stevens Jr. running in 18th. 72 slideways, spinning up the track. Kisses the wall. I'm amazed it didn't bring out a caution there, because he is backwards on the racing line there. And he's going to come to a brief halt, gun it, and pull it down pit road. He was trying to get the race to bring out a caution, stop and go, but nothing brought out the caution there. So, tough break for Matt Bands. Unfortunate no call there on the caution. Means he's going to get trapped a lap down, maybe worse, in 19th. Meanwhile, your leader still stretching it out here. He's up to a almost 2-second advantage on Justin Parham. Driving away with it. Sharn Hill losing a little bit of ground to the 19. And this is where you settle in. You know, you kind of make your bed, figuring out the fuel numbers, strategy that's going to work for you tonight. As we get closer to halfway, that fuel window starts to open up at around lap 65 here tonight. And who's going to be one of the first to jump down pit road for the final pit stop here tonight? Warren Keith back up to 4th. It's been a slow but steady progression to get him back up to the front after losing all that position. Wow. Jesse Whittington out to a 2.10 second lead over Justin Parham. Well, we'll go ahead and dial up the side-by-side here. Might not be super exciting, but still an opportunity to get and watch the leader in action here. As we're just at about halfway in the race. Jesse Whittington has led more laps than most here today at Indy. Justin Parham led for a while. Don't know if Warren Keith led, but was very close to leading on an occasion or two. Joe Irwin definitely had made his way up there, but had failed to lead a lap so far, so. Through half the race, the most dominant driver, though, has been Jesse Whittington. And you can see just how tight the corners are here and tough. I mean, just look at the intent to make it through the corners. I mean, the straightaways are a nice reprieve, but then you get into these corners and you got to kind of put the wheels on the chalk line at the bottom there. Let it slide back up, do the same thing again, and not get too far down on the apron or else you'll upset the car. Whittington is showing how to do it here today in Indy. Putting on a great show, holding that lead, and all in all, looking like the one to beat here tonight. we got past halfway here. Let's go ahead and do hot potato around the field. Try to follow where all the racing action is going down. This is definitely one of the longer races on the season, being a Crown Jewel event. 250 miles at Indy it's no joke. I mean, you're going to see these drivers put to the test here today. Garrett Walden slowly but surely working his way through the field here. He's been able to gain since the restart several spots up to 9th. We saw him charge by, we were on the in-cam for Lauren Vincent into 11th. So he's gained 2 spots since then. Joe Irwin has had to fight back from some adversity here tonight. He was all the way up to 2nd at one point and now finds himself fighting from 10th. Ryan Gomes a little bit further back here. Secondary pack cars. Trey Spears had been spun out here earlier in the race and he's recovering, trying to get some spots back up to 13th. Got Billy Titoff there, running in 14th, just right ahead of Joshua King. Charles Stevens Jr. running in 17th. He was able to get around the 44 of Jorge Ledesma Jr. And unfortunately trapped a lap down here. Matt Baines, he's going to be hoping desperately for a caution to get himself back on the lead lap. So battle starting to brew up here in 2nd. Justin Parham holds the position. Warren Keith wants it. In the meanwhile, Jesse Whittington out to a 4.10 second advantage. And that gap just continues to grow in his favor. Crazy to think that Jesse only has 1 win this season. He's had potential to win multiple. And I mean, even like tonight, you can't rule out the unknown from happening. Something could strike, bring out a caution, and all it takes is a restart to get discombobulated here. As we're at the 1 hour mark, the race is definitely going to be pushing near 2 hours here tonight. And that's even without ruling in the potential for more cautions. Possible overtime if cautions come late in the race towards the end. Warren Keith gets alongside the 19. They're going to get side by side down the middle of turn 3 and 4 there. Not quite. So 9 loses the advantage that he had there. We're in the breakaway here from pretty much 2nd to 10th. Anywhere from 2nd to 10th is up for grabs as they're all within the same draft of each other. Sharn Hill still holding it solid in fourth. Great night for Sharn Hill. He's had a couple top 10 finishes this season. Actually, he's had one top 10, and that was just last week at Richmond. No top 5s, obviously no wins yet, so Sharn Hill wanting to try to continue the trajectory in the upward direction. Getting a top 10 last week at Richmond, that's checking one off the checklist. Looking at the idea of a top 5 here tonight, might be able to check mark that one off of his list as well. Well, Jesse Whittington out to a near 4.5 second lead as pit windows slowly going to start opening up here for the rest of the field. Whatever Jesse Whittington decides to do, he's going to have nearly a 4-second gap to play with. That could even save you from a slow pit stop to some degree. The only thing that Jesse Whittington is not going to want to see is a potential caution, is that would erase the advantage that he has over the field and force his hand into getting on strategy with everyone with the potential caution. At 40 to go, it's definitely not the perfect window yet. You're going to want to wait till about 35 laps to go. So with 40 laps to go this time around, drivers are going to have to hold on for about 5 more laps on their current set of tires. Try to bring it down pit road for a full tank of gas. 4 tires if they've got them. Crazy to think that we've already run 150 miles here tonight at Indianapolis. That means we've got 100 miles left to go, grand total of 40 laps. Justin Parham losing a little bit more on the disadvantage to Jesse Whittington, now up to 4.5 seconds. Whittington driving away with it. Thanks for those of you that have tuned in here tonight. Hopefully you're enjoying the coverage. Rooting on your favorite drivers, family, friends, whoever might be tuned in. Still, at least a round of pit stops could definitely shake things up here tonight. So no one is truly down and out until the last 15 laps of this race. That's when things will get really interesting. One thing that's almost for certain is there's a good chance that we're not going to see much change in the point standings, as a lot of your drivers who've kind of established themselves in the top 5, top 10 in the points are going to probably hold serve here from Indianapolis. Wow, first taker down pit road very early. That is Sharn Hill.
The yellow flag is out.
Well, that caution definitely changes everything, as this is our 4th caution here tonight. And all the strategies that we were going to start seeing pan out, go ahead, take that whiteboard, take the rag and wipe it clean. There's really no strategies that are going to unfold between different strategies, as the driver's hands are kind of forced here. So let's get the butt kicker replay screen up here. Bringing out the caution. It looks like involves the 79 here of Billy Titoff. Thinking that's in the middle of turns 3 and 4. He hit the wall. Slides down the apron. Loses it on the apron and comes back in to the racetrack on turn 4 there. And that brings out your caution. We've seen a wreck like that earlier on Matt Baines that did not bring out the caution. This time the 79 spins and brings out the caution. So, don't know what this necessarily means for Sharn Hill, who did pit, but I think everyone's going to pit now. And Sharn Hill might be able to stay out. We're sitting right at the edge of the window here, and these drivers are definitely going to have to start saving fuel under the caution brakes. If there were to be a green-white checkers here tonight, it could spell trouble on the fuel mileage. Definitely for Sharn Hill, things are going to be tight. He's going to have to be saving fuel right now and all the way to the finish. But your leaders should come down pit road here. Yeah, just like that, Sharn Hill stays out. Right now you're watching the in-car cam, or at least the rig cam of Jesse Whittington and Charles Stevens Jr. They're waiting extra long here for Charles Stevens Jr. Maybe doing a little bit of damage repair or tamping that gas cell all the way full. Things are gonna come around to your new race leader here this evening. Sharn Hill, top of the board. Alternate strategy. He pitted before everyone else did. Inherits the lead and should be on fairly even playing ground here. Only one lap the difference on the pit stop that he made to the caution that fell just a lap after. So almost guarantee you, if we were on the in cam of the number 5 right now, you'd be hearing fuel saving at its finest. Number 5 might be a little bit concerned if overtime is to happen here tonight. But a lot of the other drivers in the same boat. Yeah, we got drivers in the back taking another pit stop here to try and add just every ounce of fuel that they can to keep it topped off. There's no reason, to not do that. If you're in the back into the field already, go ahead and relinquish your 14th place running position to get a little bit more fuel added on. Getting doubled up for the restart here. Sharn Hill, your leader. Jesse Whittington in second. Can only imagine the emotions for Sharn Hill after the rough week last week in the family. Trying to harness that raw emotion and turn it into raw speed here tonight. Number 5 has looked great from the start, and with 44 laps to go, he's going to have something to prove out there. Back on pretty much even playing ground here. Like I said, the advantage only a lap to Whittington and the rest of the field who just pitted. Sharn Hill's going to have to get the restart and maintain the lead like his life depends on it. Joe Irwin still on pit road as they're going to see the pace car pull off. And they must be doing some extra adjustments. That 03 is about to go a lap down, and that's going to hurt in the points battle of things. Just now leaving pit road, he's going to be right in the line of the leaders.
Green flag,
Actually,
green
no,
flag.
it says out, so I think he's out of the car, out of the race at the moment. We'll see. I don't know. He's retreaded the race line right there. This is going to be a tough blend as he's going to go a lap down. Sharn Hill with the lead coming out of turn 2. Justin Parham running in second. The battle is on for the win here tonight. The drivers are going to have to figure out methods here to keep the fuel in their favor. Oh, the 19 clipped the wall there, giving it a little bit extra. That's going to lose him a little bit of momentum on the number 5 of Hill. Now is kind of the time when you got to start, making your moves and putting yourself in the right position to win the race. Winning at Indianapolis is huge. And I guarantee you Sharn Hill knows exactly how monumental a victory here in Indianapolis would feel. Some drivers never get to kiss the bricks, and so many of them dream of doing so. With 32 laps to go, Sharn Hill is running down a dream. But he's going to have his hands full for this final stint of the race. Justin Parham, Jesse Whittington, they're not going to go away. They're hovering right there in his peripheral. How crazy would that be? Sharn Hill driving the number 5 here. There's another number 5 that sticks out to me, having won at Indianapolis. That would have been number 5 of Casey Kane, getting his final career win in the NASCAR Cup Series. I only remember how wore out he was after that win. It was definitely one of those monumental moments in a driver's career, and Casey Kane was able to cherish every moment of it. That's what your racers here today have to look forward to, the monumental joys of winning at the Brickyard. Getting to kiss the bricks and do something that few have been able to tag their name to, and even more have dreamt of. Those two behind Sharn continue to race, and it's causing them to lose momentum, allowing Sharn Hill to kind of drive away with it and grow a gap here. The more Whittington fights on Parham, the further the 5 drives away with it. Just like that, Whittington gets by Parham, but is Parham going to let him get away with it here? We've seen what Whittington can do with the race lead, but now that he's kind of stuck behind the dirty air, car looks a little bit different. And that is one of the topics this season when interviewing the drivers. It's all about that track position in this next gen car. If you get up front in the clean air, it's so easy to just drive away with it. These cars are so aero sensitive that, yeah, dirty air, unless you've got superhuman speed, it's hard to make the passes and hard to really, execute when you're behind. I think we're definitely seeing that right now with Jesse Whittington. Is Whittington proved being up front, he was able to build about a 5-second advantage on the rest of the field. Well, now Sharn Hill's ahead of him. Sharn's only been able to put up a half-second advantage, but Whittington struggled to close that gap at the moment. And the key is that fresh air for Sharn Hill. It can make a car that maybe struggles to get the pace down run a little bit quicker. Of course, fuel numbers are going to be interesting. Sharn Hill might not want to stay up here and burn through his fuel too quickly. But on the same side of that, he's not going to want to let Jesse Whittington by, because that may be the last time he sees the 94 car. So it's definitely a catch-20 here. Do you stay up front, burn all your fuel, and risk running out of gas to win the race? Or do you let Jesse Whittington by, save some fuel, but allow that 94 to build a gap? Whoa, the 94 got loose. There was a mistake on the 94 there. That's what Sharn Hill definitely needed, a little bit of a reprieve from the charge of the 94. Whittington recovers pretty quickly though, and he's trying to close that gap again. Might be a good time to hop in the in-car cam here with Jesse Whittington. Sharn Hill doing a great job holding off the hard charger here. 94, Whittington, who's led majority of the race here today. 26 laps to go. Jesse Whittington is laying it out there. Driving the wheels off the 94, hitting the walls, doing everything he can to try and catch the number 5 again. The perks of this for Sharn Hill is the 94 is going to use up his stuff trying to catch him here. And he's got to run. Number 5, like I was saying, maybe it's good to lay over here and save some fuel, knowing that you're not, not in the perfect scenario to make it to the finish without saving at least a little bit of fuel for green-white checkers. And Jesse Whittington back to the top spot here. Sharn Hill falls into second. For Sharn Hill, he's not going to want to let that 94 get too far away. And part of the pass here, I'm sure, was him trying to save his stuff a little bit. So now that the 94 has the lead, we'll see if he drives away with it, or if he starts saving his stuff up a little bit as well. And just like that, Whittington already stretching it to a near 0.3 second advantage. Oh, Hill gets loose. We saw Jesse Whittington make that same. Oh man, that's a heartbreak for Sharn Hill, dropping all the way back to 6th. The pressure may have just got to him a little bit there. Settles in line in 7th. Had a great run going. Definitely, you just hate to see a great run come unraveled like that. So yeah, Joe Irwin 1 lap down here after that strangely scheduled pit stop. I thought maybe came back down to tap off the gas and, well, instead falls a lap down in serious jeopardy of finishing this race dead last on the field. Of course, there might be another caution before the end of this one, so don't count out potential for a late race caution. Yeah, Jesse Whittington is just driving away with it at the moment. Making a move up to 3rd. You got Jay Stinson trying to get around Warren Kyle Keith on the outside. 9 is holding solid on the low side, but the 31 trying to charge around the outer ring. They slide up the race line there. The 9 has lost the advantage. The 31 trying to charge around the outside. Kenneth Redinger also giving a good push to the 31. Stinson up to a podium position right now. And that is Venom Racing with Jay Stinson. Venom Racing having a solid run here tonight as they've got Justin Parham in 2nd, Jay Stinson in 3rd, Kenneth Redinger in 5th, and Matthew Fritz in 6th. So 4 of their drivers all in the top 6. Great run here tonight. Warren Keith gets back by, and that pretty much sets up a Venom Racing freight train behind him. Justin Parham starting to try and close that gap down. Has closed it to 0.65 on Jesse Whittington. Now up to a 3/4 of a second lead for Jesse Whittington. It kind of ebbs and flows. 19 was trying to catch him, and now he's losing the gap almost a full second off. Still haven't really seen the full effects of the snake maneuver here tonight with the draft in mind. Lauren Vincent joins Joe Irwin as a lap down in the field now. Mayhaps been for a potential scheduled stop. So honestly, even though the driver's pitted with 35 laps to go, there's really no telling. And honestly, with Sharn Hill dropping all the way back to 7th, it makes you wonder if he decided to really drop off and start saving that fuel, knowing that the drivers in front of him going full out might not have what it takes to run it to the finish. So Sharn Hill, I think we know for a fact, is not going to be able to run at 100% pace and win the race. On the defense now, trying to potentially hope for this thing to stay green and the other drivers to fall off in front of him. Yeah, the fuel numbers are gonna be tight. The gap staying very consistent between Jesse Whittington and Justin Parham. Ah, look at that, Warren Keith. He's deciding to pit here with 18 laps to go. Sharn Hill's pitting. That's kind of peculiar. And we're starting to see that the drivers are maybe pushing the hands of the leaders here to make a move. Warren Keith and Sharn Hill both pit here with 18 laps to go. Ooh, Sharn Hill missed his pit stop there, pit box, and had to back up. So yeah, this makes things interesting. More of that, road course mentality pit strategies that you often wouldn't see running at any other oval track. Knowing the distance they gotta measure for the fuel in the tank. Jesse Whittington, Justin Parham continue to stay out. Matthew Fritz.
Caution, yellow flag.
Wow, and we get another caution, which throws another wrinkle in all of these game plans. So just when you think you know the way the race is going, it throws another curveball at us, and I still don't know what the winning strategy is right now. Whoops, that's a bit of a bummer. It's one of our drivers that just came down pit road. So get ready for the butt kicker replay as we look back at why we're under caution here for the near 6th time. So here we have the 5 of Sharn Hill just now exiting after his pit stop. Oh, and trying to get through the gears. Car was not happy on the fresh tires. Spins out in the middle of turn 1 and 2. Collects it into the wall and brings out the caution here. Heartbreak for Sharn Hill. It just went from great to bad to worse in the span of about 15 laps there for the number 5 car. Okay, he's still on pit road getting repairs done. Alrighty. Almost feel like if you're the leaders here, your best bet is to pit, get those fresh tires, get a full tank of gas, have no worry in the world that you'll be able to make it to the finish here. But I'm not the crew chief sitting atop the box either, so we'll see what calls get made here. Jesse Whittington, your leader, Matthew Fritz up to 3rd, Justin Parham sitting in 2nd. And just like that, your leaders are going to pit here. going to have a driver stay out. Should be the 9 of Warren Keith staying out here. The 99 of Redinger also going to stay out. Oh, as well as Stinson and Gomes. So your top 4 all remain staying out on track. Warren Keith, Jay Stinson, Ryan Gomes, and Kenneth Redinger. Means the best that Whittington can do is come out of the pits here in 5th. Quick 2-tire stop and gas. He's rolling out. Maintain 5th place. He's going to have to pass 4 cars to get the win here. Alrighty, we are getting doubled up for the restart here with what would be 13 laps to go when they come around to the start-finish line. It's been a great race here tonight with some definite ebb and flow. Warren Keith gets to the lead, I think, for the first time here tonight. He'd been trying to take the lead away from Jesse Whittington on a few occasions and able to use pit stop strategy to his advantage here to get the lead wrangled away from the 94 team. This restart's going to mean everything here. There's a good chance that this could be the last pit stop here tonight. And so they've made their bed. They're going to have to lay in it. With 13 laps to go once they come across the line, who's going to have what it takes to methodically work their way up and stay up front? Warren Keith is going to be a tough emissary to beat here. But Jesse Whittington is always within striking distance.
Green flag, green flag.
Rolling here with what could potentially be the last restart. We'll definitely hold off on saying for sure, for certain. Especially since cautions breed cautions. And with 13 laps to go, this is about the time where drivers are going to go cranking that dial up to 11. Warren Keith is driving away with it. They're getting wild and crazy. No, the 19 losing it. That's one of those racing situations Race staying green, amazingly. Another no call on cautions, and we're gonna have to dial up the butt kicker replay to get a better idea of what happened to Justin Parham there. We're gonna keep it at full speed here. Ooh, wow, okay. We'll put it on the 19. Hold with me, folks, as I try to, yeah, it was, man, one of those aero deals where the car just got unhappy. Involved in the wreck, he had the 92 of Brent. Ooh, yeah, I think he let off and tried to swerve to avoid 84 as well, Charles Stevens Jr. involved in it. But we stay green. Heartbreak for Justin Parham here tonight, who had a stellar car up until the point he got in that wreck there. We could be eyeballing the potential for 5 different winners in the first 5 races this season. That alone is no small feat, as parity is often a hard concept to achieve. And so with the SCSRA, we're starting to see parity ring true. Warren Keith, all he's going to have to do is hold on for 10 more laps here. Jesse Whittington laying in the back. He might have to start thinking about Hail Mary trips to get to the front. Kenneth Redinger just turned his fastest lap in the race. He cranked that thing up to 11 and turned a 52.35. That is the fastest lap in the race here under race pace. Whittington, his fastest lap was a 52.37. So, yeah, the drivers, they're hanging it out there, putting it all out on the line. Looks like out of the race, Charles Stevens and Sharn Hill stuck on pit road there. Joe Irwin still showed 19th, but he must be off the racetrack as well, because he has not turned a lap time. Sharn Hill, Charles Stevens. Warren Keith with the advantage of clean air out front. Really building that gap on Kenneth Redinger. Brent was able to continue and stay on the lead lap here after getting involved in that wreck. Could potentially be lap traffic upon the horizon for the leaders here when they catch up to Vince Brent. And what I'm impressed about here is the potential for parity. Say, even if Warren Keith falls off here, Kenneth Redinger has not yet won this season. So your top two, both seeking their first win. Obviously, Jesse Whittington, the points leader, has gotten a win this season, but yet again, snake bitten tonight for what could have potentially been an easy win in the pocket. Strategies and cautions kind of shook things up for Whittington and cost him the top position. as the laps clip away quicker and quicker. We're down to 7 laps to go. Warren Keith, his advantage nearly a full second. Kenneth Redinger now starting to close that gap a little bit and build a buffer on him over Jesse Whittington. This race still far from over with 6 laps remaining at the line this time by. And we're going to be just short of the 2-hour mark, it looks like. Just got by the 1 hour and 45-minute mark of the race. The gap consistent between the top 5. There's about 8/10 of a second advantage from first, 8/10 from second to third, third to fourth, and fourth to fifth. But that has just been cut in half by Kenneth Redinger, as it's now 0.4. He's catching Warren Keith in blistering time. Oh, the lap traffic. As I was mentioning earlier, Vince Brent might be playing a little bit of spoiler here. We'll see. He's still fighting to stay on the lead lap, but it ain't going to be much of a fight as they both blow by the 92. No! The 9 loses it from the lead. Loses it. And now Kenneth Redinger jumps to the top spot.
Caution, yellow flag.
Wow. Oh boy. Well, this is exactly what Jesse Whittington needed. One more restart, an attempt to try fight for the win again. But heartbreak for Warren Keith, who was leading. That looked almost like the 2011 Indianapolis 500 with the one that Dan Weldon won. If you've watched IndyCar, you know exactly which one I'm talking about. I'm just trying to remember names at the moment. Give it a moment here before we jump into the replay. But it was so reminiscent of J.R. Hildebrand. Not at the same spot in the track. JR did it right before the, start-finish line coming out of turn 4. But, man, the 9 of Warren Kyle Keith had the race in his grasp. Indianapolis, it does not discriminate. It jumps out and takes whoever it decides it's going to take. And that's one of the, mystique. It's the mystique of Indianapolis. You get some of the wildest and craziest things happening. And the 9 lost it after riding the wall for a brief moment, loses it down into the grass, locks it down so he doesn't come sliding back in front of the rest of the cars on the lead lap. Man, heartbreak hotel. I think the lap car kind of threw off his lap, kind of his routine there. Gets loose in the middle of the turn, probably laid out of the gas a little bit to try and avoid the lap traffic. Tough break, man, tough break. So now Kenneth Redinger will inherit the lead here. And it's looking like it's going to end under a natural green-white checkered attempt, at least for the first shot here. So the race will go to the originally planned distance if we get no more cautions. Actually, no, my bad. It'll go to green-white checkered land here. We'll stretch it to lap 101 here, no matter what. Because they're gonna take the green on lap 100. Have a green-white checkered, so 100, white flag, 101, checkered flag on 102. And that's given if we don't get another caution before they make it around the racetrack. So make your picks, folks. It's gonna get dicey for the win here tonight. A lot on the line, trying to win a crown jewel event. And just look at how much Warren Keith laid it on the line here tonight. Not going to have anything to show for it, but definitely hard-charging heartbreak of the night. The lights should go off on the pace car when they come across the bricks here. And they'll get doubled up for potentially the final restart of the night. On top of that, you're going to have some drivers that just now decided to pit on this last caution. They could try to charge through the field with fresh tires. Don't know if 3 laps will be enough for them to make it to the lead, but stranger things have happened. Kenneth Redinger is going to have to get the restart here and drive like he stole it. It's gonna be tough to keep Jesse Whittington behind him. And just alone the prestige of winning here at Indianapolis. When they come across the brick finish line for the last time here tonight, they'll know that they've etched their names into the brick history of Indianapolis. Even if it's just iRacing, it is going to be one that you will never forget, winning at the fabled Indianapolis Motor Speedway. In the restart zone, here we go. Potentially the last restart of the night. They're going to go charging hard into turn 1. Jesse Whittington's going to have his work cut out for him. Trying to catch Kenneth Redinger and pass him all in the span of a green-white checkered restart here. 94 is closing the gap on the 99. He's trying to make quick work of the 99. Catches right up to his back bumper. He's caught him. Now he's going to have to figure out how to pass him. Redinger, he's going to try to take that inside line away and force the 94 to pass him on the outside maybe. This is going to be the point in time where we start to see the snake effect, where the driver at the lead is going to try to slice and dice to keep the 94 at a disadvantage. There we go, as I was saying, slice and dice, snake maneuver to keep the draft off the driver behind you. But it looks flashy. Is it effective, though? 99 maintains the lead. The 94 losing a little bit of a gap there. He's going to have another half of the racetrack to keep the lead away from the 94. They're wrecking in the background. Not wrecking, but just banging, bumping, crashing into the wall. Whittington right there. He can smell the lead. But Kenneth Redinger for Venom Racing. He might be able to etch his name into the concrete, into the bricks that have made racing history what it is today. They're going to come drag racing down the front stretch. The 94 loses the advantage that he had on the inside. They come across the bricks, and the 94 comes home in second. The 99 of Kenneth Redinger secures the win here in Indianapolis in our second Crown Jewel race of the season. His teammate comes home in third as well, the 31 of Jay Stinson. Jesse Whittington with a yet another solid second place finish. Podiums are huge for the championship battle, and Whittington, even on his bad days, still manages to finish second. Second or third, it's really been the worst of his finishes this year. But how about that? Parity is the name of the game. 5 races in, 5 different winners here in the SCSRA Dev Sporting Cards Cup Series. Redinger is going to come to the yard of bricks here, park it on the start-finish line, and he's going to be able to get out of the car shortly here and kiss those bricks here tonight. Just short of 2-hour mark here, 102 laps, the official distance, and your winner, the 99 Chevrolet of Kenneth Redinger for Venom Racing. Jay Stinson parks it right there to celebrate with his teammate as the two drivers bring it home on the podium. And I'm going to be excited. We'll get to hear some new voices in the announcer's booth here today, as we have not yet interviewed Kenneth Redinger or Jay Stinson for podium finishes this season. Yeah, Indianapolis, one of my favorite tracks. The prestige that rolls with it, the adrenaline, everything was on tap here tonight. We got to see a great race, some strategies unfold, and a new winner. And so the final results at the end of the night here. Your winner, Kenneth Redinger. Second place, Jesse Whittington for Cypress Academy. Venom Racing's Jay Stinson comes home in third. And then Ryan Gomes coming home fourth for Neon Racing. Garrett Walden in the 43 for Cypress Academy coming home with a top 5. And then you have the 72 of Matt Baines. Man, what a resurgence for him after, I think he fell a lap down at one point. Got the wave around and came back for a top 10 finish in 6th. Josh Hall for Neon Racing bringing it home 7th. Matthew Fritz for Venom Racing bringing it home 8th. Billy Tidoff bringing it home 9th. And Jorge Ledesma Jr. rounding out the top 10. Trey Spears in 11th. Lauren Vincent in 12th. Joshua King, Vince Brent, Justin Parham, Warren Keith, Charles Stevens Jr., and Heartbreak for Sharn Hill coming home 18th. And the winner from last week, Joe Irwin, bringing it at the bottom of the lineup in 19th. So we're going to go ahead and pull our podium finishers here into the booth. Bringing it home here tonight. Third is none other than the 31 of Jay Stinson. It's Jacob in the
Oh
booth.
God.
Do you copy, Jay?
Yes, sir.
Well, I can tell you're a little bit surprised. I pulled you down into the interview here for your podium finish. How did it feel out there tonight around the track?
I had a good time, man. It was a fun race. Yeah, I forgot about the interview, man. We was down there talking and just having a good time laughing. But yeah, no, it felt good. We made some good maneuvers. I made timely pit stops. I made a mistake, but then karma came back and got me back in the top 10 somehow over a caution or something. So I don't know. I got lucky. I'm not the fastest car out of all these guys out here, so to be a podium guy, that was pretty cool tonight.
Well, yeah, Indianapolis is definitely one of those tracks that almost plays out more like a road course with all the strategies, the cautions. Um, your game plan probably changed multiple times here tonight with the cautions falling in very very strange situations. It felt like tonight.
Yeah, yeah. It was hey, do we take tires here? Do we not take tires? Do we come in and get gas? Do we stay out and risk it? It was kind of funny that first one we split it before the caution. We had half our team went in and took gas to make sure, and the other half decided to see if they could make it or not. Arm made it. Redinger was real close. He ended up getting into the pit road there, barely. And we did that all night. Just try to keep as much track position as we possibly could, stay out of any kind of danger, and then be as courteous as you can here without making a mistake. The one lane racing, it's a little bit tough, so you got to make a move when you can, and you got to be courteous as well to when somebody's got a faster car. So we did that for the most of the night, and it was fun. It was a good time.
Awesome. Well, is there any friends, family, sponsors, or anyone you want to thank here tonight?
Absolutely, man. Like my teammates, I run with them in a bunch of different leagues. So like Matt, Justin Parham, Kenneth Redinger. We got Chase and Zach are not here tonight, but normally run with us. So we're a pretty tight knit group and always run in the same leagues and stuff. So I want to thank them. Sponsors would be Fry Disposal, LLC. So if you ever need any trash hauled off or any kind of pickup there, man, the number's on the front of the hood. And you guys for putting the league on, and you for broadcasting, pal.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on the podium tonight. Enjoy this one, and we'll see you in the next race.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you. Have a good night.
You too. And so that was your third place finisher here tonight, Jay Stinson. So we'll go ahead and hop on to second place on the evening, Jesse Whittington.
You. I would have had you, but for some
Oh,
reason,
oh,
sorry.
apologies, Jacob. Jacob in the booth here. I got you now. Man, how
I'm sorry about that, man. I was talking with Kenneth.
no, I never know when to pull people in and out. Yeah, we got it. It's all good. It's all good. We're enjoying the racing here tonight. And how about the race here at Indianapolis, man?
Does disappointing describe it?
Oh, I
I don't know if I've ever been this disappointed with a P2 before.
yeah, you had the race under lock for most of the night, and some of the weirdest timed cautions just kind of came out and bit a few people, and it bit you the most on I think two or three occasions here tonight. Um, but yeah, it almost felt like watching a road course where your strategies had to change on a dime here tonight.
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, the weird thing is the tires really didn't mean a whole lot. Like, I mean, your tires could be at 45%, and as long as you were managing the temps, you could still be putting together laps in the high 52s, low 53s. But I don't know, just I'm just really disappointed. And, got a 4.5 second lead, and caution comes out. I get the lead back. I get it back up to around a second or so. I'm just trying to manage because I knew we were all going to have to pit again. I was just going to take a splash and go and get going, and caution comes out again. And then I just did what I could to settle in line, and man, this one stings. Like I don't know. I just this is one of my least favorite tracks to drive, but it seems to be one of my better tracks on a consistent basis. But I've still never won here.
It's I think,
So
it's that's Indianapolis in a nutshell. I mean, it's tough to win at, and honestly, tonight almost very reminiscent of Denny Hamlin-esque finish from Phoenix just on Sunday for you.
you're the second person to tell me that.
It's like,
Like
uh,
I got done with my Twitch stream and I sent it over to somebody and one of my viewers said something about it in that guy's chat explaining the race and he goes, "Oh, you didn't eat it."
you
I was
did.
like, "Great, great."
It probably feel just the same as Denny after coming up second in the championship, but coming up second here tonight in Indianapolis. No, I can definitely feel the heartbreak on that one. It stings. With that, though, is there friends, family, sponsors you want to thank?
Oh, absolutely. I've always got to throw a shout out to my wife, my kids. They never whine, never complain about me coming out here. Um, can't thank them enough for their love and support. On the hood tonight, I had Blacklight. Go to blacklight.com/jwit94 or use code jwit94 at checkout for 10% off of your order. Go check out the website and see what you like. Um, also, Also had on the car tonight my buddy Luke Haley, Moza. I'm loving this wheel. The more I get used to it, the more I love it. Um, Shady Rays and of course Big Fish Barbecue are on the back end of the car every race. So um, go to bigfishbbq.shop and see what they have to offer. And of course, thanks to you for doing the broadcast every week. Thanks to the league for putting it on every week. See if we can come out here. Not next week. I know I'm not going to do good next week, but see if we can come out here and try to get a win or two before the playoffs.
Well, keep your head hung high, my dude. That was still a great race. You dominated. Nothing to be ashamed of coming runner up here tonight, even. So, um, yeah, I feel the pain, but at the same time, I hope the best for the next races to come. So,
Absolutely. I appreciate it, man. You have a good rest of your night.
yep, you too. And so, with the parity, as I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, 5 for 5 with 5 different winners. Bringing in our 5th winner of the season, it is Kenneth Redinger. Jacob in the booth, do you copy Kenneth?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, how about the race here tonight? You definitely got blessed with some lucky calls, some strategy advantages that kind of moved you through the field. What was the big turning point in this race for you tonight?
That was following Jay Stinson down on pit road there for that last caution to make it on fuel there. As soon as we hit pit road, the caution came out and gave us all the track position we needed, and it was kind of, I guess I don't remember where we started. I think it was in the top 5 there, and then it was just waiting to see if the 9 would make a mistake, and he sure did.
Yeah, no, that was, I mean, watching you two fight there, you were closing the gap. It looked like Warren Keith was going to kind of walk away with it, but you closed it in half. Lap traffic kind of mixed it in there, and all of a sudden kind of threw him off of his, off of his
Yeah,
rhythm.
he was panicked. He was panicked driving there. He wasn't the lap down car. I'm not
Yeah,
going to follow that narrative that everybody had in the chat.
no.
He was just panicked driving and getting caught, and then he quit at the end. So, I mean, I'm going to call it what it is.
Yeah. Well, it definitely it looked like you were running him down no matter what. It was a good race up to the finish there. Um, you know, you came through and had that last restart, the green white checkered, and all you had to do was hold off Jesse Whittington, and you did
Yep,
that.
he was definitely the guy that deserved to win the race. He was by far the fastest, but sometimes it don't work out like that.
Well, I mean that's just like the regular NASCAR series too, with the Denny
Exactly.
Hamlin fiasco this past week. So
All right.
not always the best car that wins it. Sometimes it's just better to be
Fortunately.
lucky.
Yep.
Well, is there any friends, family, sponsors you want to thank here tonight?
Just shout out to all my teammates. We have a good chat going, and we have a lot of fun in these races. And shout out to the league and for putting everything on and dealing with everybody's.
Shenanigans.
Yep.
Well, I do love seeing the teamwork. You guys work together as a team over there in Venom Racing, and a top 3 between you and Stinson. That's always great to see. So keep up the good work, guys, and we'll see you in the next one.
Yep. Thank you.
Yep. Well, and that, folks, is a wrap here tonight here in the SCSRA Dev Sports Cards Cup Series. Your winner on the night after the 2 hours of racing around Indianapolis. Like we were mentioning, sometimes it's not the best car that wins the race. You just got to be lucky and find yourself out there at the end. And that's kind of what Kenneth Redinger was able to pull off there. So congratulations to the 99 team. 5 races in, 5 different winners. And we'll see if we can make it 6 next week when we roll into the next race. So everyone, thanks for tuning in. Glad you enjoyed the stream. Appreciate the racing and all the action that I get to cover here. Excited for the next one. Keep safe out there, folks. Have a great night, and we'll see you in the next stream. This is Jakester signing out for Intensity Broadcasting.